So I'm here with Frosso and Glenn, two experienced FASTLEAD coaches, and what we'd like you to explain to us is a little bit about the FASTLEAD program and particularly about the experiences of the participants, because this is the question that we constantly get. So maybe Glenn, if I could start with you. When participants come into the program, what are they expecting? What are they looking for, do you think?
I think they're looking to know what they don't know. They've been put in a new leadership role. They're new to leading people, or else they've been there for a little while but not getting the kind of results that they're actually after. But they don't know what they don't know. So they're looking for some ideas, get a bit of feedback about the stuff they're doing currently, comparing this with other people in the pod as well. What are your experiences? Am I experiencing similar things to you? Am I doing things right? Am I doing things wrong? So I think they're looking for clarity, first of all, in terms of what it means to be a leader and how do I go about being a good leader.
Frosso?
And I think they're looking for some formal development. So for a lot of them, they've been put into these roles out of default. You know, I was the only person left, or I've been doing my job technically really well, and this was the next move for me. So they haven't had any formal training around, well, what framework do I use if I need to have a difficult conversation, or what do I say to someone if they're not performing correctly? So it really is that clarity and the confidence to say, hey, I've actually been doing it right all along, or here's a nice simple model I can use and immediately deploy if I need to have that kind of conversation.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, the people watching this video have a huge number of choices in terms of developing their emerging leaders. So this is a small group coaching execution with typically 2 or 3 people inside the pod. So how do you know it works as coaches?
I think you know it works because of the fact that it's real-time coaching. You're dealing with real people, real issues that they're dealing with in their company. You give them some tools or some structures or some modelling around those issues. You might give them a framework to work. Now, at the end of each session, they put in place a development plan, some action steps that they're going to take. What happens when they come back next time is checking in, what did you do, what did you try, what did you put in place, what were the results, what were the outcomes. So you're actually hearing the stories each week in terms of what they tried, what they put in place, and the results that they're getting. And you can see the confidence growing in them as they put these things in place, and you're hearing the success stories as you go along. You're also hearing some of the other challenges they might not have expected once they tried having those difficult conversations, for example, and that gives you more to coach around. So we're seeing it actually work. It's real, it's live.
And you typically see a bit of a change of mindset on a lot of the guys. So for example, if they've done a self-awareness module and then they realise I'm actually a really dominant style, it's that dominant style is really not going to work on someone who's a little bit more conscientious or a bit more of an influencer who needs a bit more of conversation. So you see them, for example, our dominant people really hold back in the next pod or the next coaching group and say, I'm going to let you do the talking because I know I'm this style and you're a bit of that style. A lot of them also tell us that they pay it forward, so they actually go back to their teams and do a bit of a mini workshop around what they've learnt in that coaching session. So there's fundamentally a lot of learning going on in the organisation. They share it with their manager, they share it with their teams. So in essence, it's not just them developing, it's actually the broader group around them as well.
And they take the concept further. You might be talking about coaching and developing somebody and using the GROW model. And one of them came back to me and said, you know, that GROW model, I actually use that to run my meetings from now on because my meetings were getting nowhere. So I put the GROW into place. I'm getting better outcomes from my meetings and better outcomes from my supervisors at the end of those meetings. So they're taking the concepts into the wider workplace. Now,
a lot of our clients ask us all the time, what's it like having 3 emerging leaders in the same pod? What's the dynamic? How do they work together? Are they quiet and you know, reserved? What's been your experience?
Completely the opposite of that. So I think it's almost like a battle of who wants to share what story. Essentially, if it's a 2-hour session, that 2 hours kind of goes by very, very quickly. The conversation's always dynamic. There's a lot of head nodding like, oh my goodness, I'm going through the exact same thing as you, or hey guys, I'm really struggling, what tips do you have for me? So the dynamic and the energy seems to be very high in the sessions, and just I think a real gratefulness for learning a framework or a model that they can immediately apply back to their work environment. So I don't know about you, Glenn, but for me it's been quite a positive, upbeat experience in the pods.
It's really positive. I think it gives them a chance to talk, to vent, to talk about things to somebody independent of the organisation for the first time, and also share those experiences with other people in the organisation and get those tips, get those ideas from the other person. What are you using? Well, I've tried this. I've had that similar situation. I think it's a relief for them in some ways to know that other people are dealing with the same things, and to get those ideas not just from the coaches but from other people in the organisation.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you're with the same people for the 6 sessions, there's a high degree of trust. We obviously see them take that relationship offline as well. So a lot of the times they're saying to us, actually I had a check-in with my pod outside of this session, we helped each other out, we wanted to try something new. So the beauty is that it extends beyond that formalised FASTLEAD coaching session.
I think one more thing, I think it also starts to make changes within the organisation in terms of process and structure, because you might have people from different areas of the business and they might say, oh, would it help you if I sent you a spreadsheet in terms of the kind of things we're looking for in our department? That'd be great if you could put that in place. So you're starting to change the way, you're breaking down the silos, I think, in the organisation.
So if a manager of a potential participant was watching this video, what's the sort of 1 or 2 themes that you see at the end of 6 or 7 sessions? What's the difference that you see in those participants?
I think confidence is the number one thing. I think a lot of people come in here and a lot of people are sent onto these things because the managers aren't seeing the confidence in their people to lead, the confidence to have those difficult conversations, the confidence to get results from other people. And the podsters, the people coming to us, they don't have that confidence. By the end of it, they're willing to take these things on. They're willing to have the tough conversations. They're wanting to change things. They're wanting to put things into place. They feel like they can speak in a group. Some people have said to me at the start, oh, I can't present, and when we have a meeting, I can't say anything. By the end of it, they're going, you know what, I'm the first one to speak in a meeting now, and I had to do a presentation the other week, and I felt really comfortable doing that.
And I think it's a bit of a broader mindset or a broader knowledge of how to do things. So a lot of them think about how they can deploy some of this stuff with their teams more broadly. They think about people as being individuals and not just a one-size-fits-all approach. They're starting to think about how they can make things easy for their team. In essence, I think they're thinking that these are people and I need to manage them and lead them as people and not objects and resources.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for sharing your experiences of FASTLEAD participants.